Our colleagues want to have a hearing today about the First Amendment under attack, so let's have it. Our freedom of speech, our freedom of assembly, our right to petition government for a redress of grievances, our right to a free press are all under siege today by President Trump and his masked agents at ICE who operate like a lawless private paramilitary force occupying American communities across the country. In the last several weeks, ICE agents have killed Renee Good, a U.S. citizen and 37-year-old mother of three, gunning her down in cold blood simply for exercising her First Amendment rights. They've killed Alex Preddy, a U.S. citizen and ICU nurse treating military veterans for exercising his right to record government officials in action and to speak to and render aid and comfort to another U.S. citizen, a woman who was violently shoved to the ground by an ICE agent. This small act of kindness, solidarity, and dare I say chivalry then brought the hellfire of a gang of masked ICE agents down on Alex Preddy. As they pummeled him, one agent discovered Preddy's firearm, which Preddy had never drawn or brandished, despite the instantaneous lies the Trump administration spewed out about him after he was killed. The agent confiscated his weapon, which he carried lawfully under the Second Amendment in Minnesota's state's conceal and open carry laws, and then the ICE agents proceeded to shoot him 10 times, executing him in cold blood simply for exercising his First Amendment and Second Amendment rights. In Chicago, Border Patrol police shot 5 times U.S. citizen Marimar Martinez, a Montessori school teacher, when she was on her way from her home to church to deliver clothes she'd collected for the poor. When she saw the now familiar to us aggressive, violent raid taking place against people in her own neighborhood, she honked her horn to warn people. This prompted an agent to swerve his car into hers, at which point he began shooting directly into her car. She could, quote, feel bullets continue to pierce her body all over. Quote, I saw my life flash before me and slowly began to think, this is the end of me, she told a shadow hearing yesterday on Capitol Hill. In a now predictable pattern, phony charges against her for ramming the police car were filed, but then promptly dropped by prosecutors when they were clearly contradicted by the video recorded facts on the ground. Miraculously, she has lived to tell the story, traumatized by our government, her own government, but undaunted in standing up for her community and for American freedom. I could recite, Mr. Chairman, equally gruesome cases to you for the next 2 hours if we had the time, but everyone should check out the sickening case of Aliyah Rahman, a 43-year-old citizen with autism in Minneapolis who was violently accosted and assaulted by ICE agents as she tried to make her way to a medical appointment. She screamed she was disabled and begged to be left alone. You must look at the footage of her violent abuse at the hands of these masked ICE goons smashing her car window and pulling her to the ground to believe that something like this could ever happen in the United States of America. Of course, the Department of Homeland Security lied about her, immediately calling the helpless autistic woman an agitator, the way they originally tried to defame Renee Good and Alex Preddy as domestic terrorists with their pathetic propaganda they had to withdraw. If there are domestic terrorists on the loose in Minneapolis, it's not the unmasked people exercising their First Amendment rights. It's the masked agents who believe they operate with impunity and immunity and violent domination over the lowly citizens of America. So yeah, we need a hearing today, Mr. Chairman. It's been more than a month since 3,000 agents descended on Minneapolis, outnumbering the entire local police force 3-1. It's been 4 weeks since they shot and killed Renee Good. It's been 10 days since Alex Preddy was executed in broad daylight by ICE agents whose salaries we pay and who got a $50,000 sign-on bonus and whose ranks almost certainly include pardoned January 6 insurrectionists like Proud Boys and Oath Keepers who now may have gone from beating the daylights out of our police officers on January 6th to beating the daylights out of our citizens. But in all that time, how many administration witnesses has the majority called to address these outrageous violations of the Bill of Rights? Not one. A few days ago, you know, Mr. Chairman, every Democratic member of our committee wrote to you and asked that you call Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem before us without delay. We wrote, this committee has devoted years of oversight to alleged First Amendment violations by social media companies, and we've subpoenaed foreign companies over censorship abroad. But look what's happening right here in front of our own eyes. Federal agents have shot dead 2 Americans in the past 2 weeks for exercising their rights to protest. We are glad that you have heeded our calls and called Secretary Noem in, but instead of demanding that she appear immediately today, her hearing is set from a month from now. But this is a constitutional emergency today. The government is destroying our social contract by attacking the people and our rights on a daily basis. Where is the sense of urgency, Mr. Chairman? It may be the giant Republican donor and Jeffrey Epstein pal Elon Musk is upset that his company's on the hook for violating the law in Europe. Maybe that the public is angry at him about his platform Grok creating nude photos on demand of women, children, and men all over the world. It may be that he was fined for refusing to comply with the European law against fraud. We can look at all that stuff. In normal times, I'd appreciate a vigorous scholarly discussion and debate about all of that, comparing Europe's aggressive, proactive approach to America's more laissez-faire approach when it comes to regulating online evils like child pornography, cyberbullying, and the epidemic of cyber scams taking place online. I'm an academic, as you know, and I'd welcome one more committee seminar on the difference in views of the Europeans versus the Americans on things like revenge porn, AI programs that compose suicide notes for teenagers, and racist conspiracy theories being promoted online. But we've got time for all of that, Mr. Chairman. This is an emergency today, what's taking place in our own country. These are not normal times. There are sweeping, blatant, and violent attacks on the freedom of expression taking place right now in America, not in Brussels, not in Geneva, not in a seminar room in Oxford. Wherever you come down on child pornography, whether you agree with the aggressive European approach or you like the Elon Musk, Jeffrey Epstein libertarian approach, whatever, the truth is that the European Commission is not posing a threat to our essential freedoms and constitutional rights today. The threat to our freedom and our people today comes from the authoritarian violence unleashed by the Trump administration and this reign of political terror and lawlessness being committed against our people. As the chief federal judge of Minnesota wrote last week, ICE has violated more court orders in January 2026 than some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. ICE is not a law unto itself. Mr. Mayel, you're the executive director of the ACLU. We're grateful you've come to tell us what's going on in your state and to help us make sense of the idea that a European statute that no one in America has ever heard of poses a greater threat to our freedom and our Bill of Rights than roving gangs of masked ICE agents gunning down American citizens in broad daylight. Mr. Chairman, let's bring in Secretary Noem without any further delay. Thank you for your indulgence, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Just a couple quick comments. 4 weeks from today, Ms. Secretary Noem will be sitting right here in front of the committee. 1 week from today, Attorney General Bondi will be sitting here. The European Commission, I think our witnesses would argue, is a threat. Just ask Dr. Raskin what's happened to her. And I would point out, we've had Democrat witnesses here. In fact, last Congress, we had a Democrat witness who was, at the time was the Democrat candidate for president, RFK Jr., and the Democrats in that committee hearing, it was a hearing on censorship. You can't make this stuff up. It was a hearing on censorship, and the Democrats made a motion to go to executive session. So no media could be in the room to hear what RFK Jr. was going to testify to in a hearing on censorship. You can't make it up. So I appreciate the ranking member's critique there, but I think there's plenty of critique to go around.